Ladies and gentlemen, the following is scheduled for one fall. It is time for That Way Cool Wrestling Show!
Hey everybody, Danny K here for That Way Cool Wrestling Show. It's Danny K along with Charles Carolina Gregory. Move that down so we can see your face. You guys.
What's up?
Director Ida, we got Mark Lindsay.
Hey now.
Look at that grub. Oh my God. And coming on today.
I'm Al-Qaeda.
You are. Very good.
Jeez.
And then coming on with us, good friend of the show. She is the first women's WWF Hardcore Champion. Great indie wrestler, beautiful woman, and all-around nice gal. Cyndi Bobcat Snow is joining us today. Cyndi, how are you?
Good morning, everybody.
Who's got that's LeGrand. Turn your volume down.
That's right. I'm turning the volume down. I just wanted to make sure that it was broadcasting correctly.
Okay, and you're seeing the chat there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So LeGrand is going to be monitoring the chat. So it's a live chat today. So if you go on, you're checking it out, you can go on, you can ask questions. LeGrand's going to translate them over to us, and then we're going to go from there. But today we're going to be talking about women's wrestling. We're going to be talking about the indies. We're going to be talking about the WWF. We're going to talk about Al Snow. We're going to talk about the Hardcore Championship and much, much more with our girl, Cyndi Snow. Cyndi, once again, thank you for coming on. I do greatly appreciate you coming on here. It's a little early for you.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
It was funny because last night I was talking to Cyndi and I said, let's get this all set up and tested. And what a rigmarole we went through to get us.
It took an hour.
It did. I was like on my way out to something, and I had her on the phone. I'm like, wait, I'll call you back. And she's like, wait, I'll call you back. And then we called each other back, and it was just crazy. So
we did it.
But we got it. We got it right away.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
We do. We do. To give you some background on Cyndi, and I do apologize if you guys hear a echo. I hear an echo. I do apologize about that. I'm not sure what that's coming from. But what you say? I love the technology. But so I go back. I was introduced to Cyndi in, I want to say, 98.
That's about right.
Yeah, it's about 98. If you remember, Cyndi, we were at a show in New York, and it was the show where we had Bigelow. Bigelow was there.
Right.
Bart Gunn, a young Steve Corino.
Yes.
Yeah, J.R. Ryder, Iron Sheik, Doug Gilbert, a number of people there. And you were managing the glorious one, Donnie B, if I remember correctly.
I think we were actually Rick Ratchet, because Donnie B and I were Rick Ratchet.
Was it the both of you? Okay. Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm thinking back to the interview.
Yeah, because
It was like
manager of LA at the time, and we used to manage Rick Ratchet.
Right, that's right. And Rick Ratchet is another great wrestler. It's insane because you don't really. He actually got a little bit of shine on the WWE Raw. He was actually part of the field, I think, for 13 seconds. Was he not? Or he pulled in or something like that? Yeah.
You
remember that, Sin?
I can't hear you. What did you say? You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ricky Ratchet. I said he actually got a little bit of shine. He was on Raw a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, a lot of those guys did like a lot of appearances on Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
So they did, they're part of like maybe the police or, part of another gimmick. They always got them on there fighting.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. It was always fun to watch.
Who's got that? Somebody's doing something. Is that Mark?
That's not me.
No, that's
Grand.
That's Rob. Let me go take care of that. I'm sorry. I'll go.
My security for the show, would you? John, that shit out of it. But Cyndi, once you fast forward, probably probably about a year or so, and he's distracted now.
Okay, you're still editing, so
Here you go. Can you hear us now?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We apologize about the technical difficulties on this show.
It's been a technical difficulty kind of show.
It is. It's very difficult to do this show. Very difficult to do this show.
So funny.
But we fast forward about a year or so later, and you and I, amongst a lot of other people, are doing shows for Tommy Fierro
Right.
in Wild, Jersey.
Yes, those are very fun.
And that was like every week we did that, and every year.
They were crap. In the boat.
It's never like this.
Stop lying.
Never like this.
There we go.
No, it's still there. Your phone.
You need to, Dan, I can't hear you because you're just like
Can't hear me?
That's her phone.
echoing.
You're getting an echo, right?
Right. Wait. Talk again now because I'm good. Say something.
All right. Hold on a second.
Now you're good.
Are we good now? We're good?
Yes.
I still get like this. Is it him? LeGrand?
Maybe if you turn down LeGrand's microphone,
Turn it off?
turn it down.
Turn it down. Which one's LeGrand talk?
Hello.
Talk.
I am talking.
Hear him fine. Dan, now say something.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
It's better.
There we go.
Is it better? There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
All right. I don't know what the hell that was. So anyway,
I want to say, look, you're talking on this. I want Cindy's opinion on women's wrestling now.
yeah.
You know,
How do you feel that is advanced?
I can't hear him because he's now.
You
he's,
can't hear him? Oh my goodness. This,
I can hear him, but I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
can you hear him now?
A little bit.
Now.
It's better. All right.
Is that better?
Yeah. A little.
I just want to know how you feel about the state of women's wrestling now.
How do I feel about the state of women's wrestling?
Yeah, how much has it advanced? Or do you feel like they're finally getting their push?
Yeah, I think so. I think finally they're doing what they should have always done with the women's division. But you got to remember, women's wrestling was always like the gimmick match. You had one woman's on every wrestling show. You had one women's match and one midget match, pretty much. And we were like the match. So I think now women's wrestling is coming into its own. We've always had our own shows and stuff, but
We did. I mean, I did myself. I did the and I can see the progression. Even in the indies, how much it's stepped up. But I think that finally they can make a lot of money with the women's wrestling.
yes,
Because the women they're skilled. Before, sometimes they weren't skilled. They'd find a woman you were skilled, but sometimes it wasn't always the same.
well, yeah. I mean, we did women's extreme wrestling for 10 years.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of girls were talented on there, and they still are. And then a lot of I'm sorry, a friend of mine just popped through. Yeah. No, they're supposed to pick up something and trying to read it. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the quality was good, but then again, we had all the strippers that they had and we tossed around and stuff like that.
I mean, did something did Glow kind of kill it very early for women's wrestling?
No, I think Glow probably brought it to. Made it come out in attention. I think Glow was a great thing for women's wrestling. I think that was the beginning of it, kind of. Again, it proved that people wanted to see women's wrestling, and the show could hold on its own. So I think that was kind of
When I talk to you about this, a lot of times because you go back to your training, you go back to this is what I know, this is what I was taught, this is what I do. But based on that. Is there something where you say, Grant, this was my role in the show? You can say it about an enhanced talent, a jobber. This is my role in the show. This is what I do. But does it kind of say, well, this is my role, but the role kind of sucks in a sense?
In wrestling, there is, people that it's like, you win the belt and really believe you're a champion. Come on.
Right.
Like, it's the promoter gave it to you, basically, and it's what your role is. So whether you're a jobber, you're the top guy, you know, everyone has a part of it. And if you truly love wrestling, you don't care what you're playing. It's actually fun to play all kinds of roles.
Yeah.
You know, it be the heel or the baby face. So yeah, you know, I think some people believe the hype. Let's put it that way.
Some people, I've been to shows where they believe their own gimmick.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You get in there with them. And I was around for a long time. I used to love wrestling guys like that because I just beat the shit out of them. I did. Because, you know, you're only good because it's individual.
You're
it's funny. Ronnie Garvin said something like where he was like, you know, someone asked him, like, what was it like when you were the world champion? You know, and he goes, well, you know, I walked in the office one day and handed me the belt. It said, you're going to be the champion. And then about 35 days later, they said, we need the belt back. I said, here you go. That was it. You know, it was a job.
Exactly how it goes.
You know, you know, and
bye, champ.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
If you think about it, God, honestly, the worst part about being a champion was getting through the airport. Because every time you put it through the screener, they'd open your bag and say shit like, here we go again. It takes you extra 20 minutes to go through.
Unfortunately, I lost my belt the same day, so.
You know what? I have to admit, I watched that last night. I kind of forgot it, and I'm watching it, and I just started cracking up because I was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember watching that." And
how long was the kid? It was like
I think it was like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
but it was great. It was great. It really was. It was a great little short story to throw in there. It really was. It really was. That was great. I laughed.
Ash Holly had funny if you did it. He said he turned my butt to the camera and pulled my skirt up so my ass cheek would be hanging out. So I had it, and that's when I came back. All the boys were popping because he said he was going to do it, and he did it, and I had no clue why they were laughing. But years later, he told me what he did, which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, "Oh, you bastard!" Well, that's why everyone was laughing. I couldn't get it.
Now, one thing about Cyndi, you're very strong skinned, and you're someone who, like, you can rib. You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of the women that are in the industry in the last maybe 10 years, it looks like some of them can't be. Like, you know, you got to watch what you say. You got to watch what you do. I mean, have you come across that?
Sweetie, it's like that in everything. Everyone now is so super sensitive about everything. Like, you can't say anything about anybody anywhere.
Right.
I just look at Facebook posts. I was laughing. Somebody posted something like, Rudolph, they're taking that off the air because it's this, or, you know, there's always something wrong, and they're just, you know, it's racist, or I'm like, can't you just enjoy the holidays and just let it be? Like, you can't say Merry Christmas, you can say Happy Holidays. I mean, it's not wrestling, it's life. Everyone is so super sensitive.
It really is.
One of the best females I think I used to work with was Annie Social.
Yeah.
And she would give it to you just as much as, and, you know, she was still a great talent. But it was like she was one of the boys, and she knew how it worked. We knew how to work with her, but it was always respectable. Yeah. And if you stepped out of that, you know, you had guys that we were, and you get put back in the place. But that's how wrestling, you know, be the worker. Everyone had each other's back regardless. There's guys I didn't like, but it was just that's you know. Yeah. So, you know, wrestling has come a long, long way, and I've seen it. I've dealt with it. Some of the women are so incredible now in the ring. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I mean, you got like still Beth Phoenix and Mickie James, you know, it's like there's still great, great talents out there, you know. Incredible. I mean,
Mickie James, I think I do know who she is. And you know, I'm never gonna say it, but she can still move. I'm 50 years old.
I'm not not to cut anybody off, but I have a question.
What?
I actually have a couple questions. One, am I giving people's names when I read these requests and stuff like that?
You can.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have a RJ Thomas who was commenting about when you had your skirt pulled up and your butt cheeks were showing. He was like, "Can she do that now?"
Just so everybody knows.
That right now? No.
Okay.
Just so we know, that's Dr. Rock. He's from the my other show. So,
Oh, jeez. I also have optimistically cynical. It said I took my son to the park, and when he got home, found out his goldfish dead, which is a hard situation for any first-time parent. How do I explain autoerotic asphyxiation to a 4-year-old?
Are you serious?
I can't make this up.
Yeah, don't.
fans. Cindy, you got the question. Go ahead. Answer it.
I don't know. I think you need to Google that. I don't know.
This is why I love our fans. I love everybody who comes in. This we can't be professional.
No.
It's just not in us.
We try.
I was watching last week, and I've noticed that the women
I'm
are.
trying to process what the goldfish had to do with it.
That was used to lure you in, Cindy. They were going to go for your heartstrings and then try to get you to explain something not there.
Well, first I would sit him down.
I got a couple of questions for Cindy.
Well, the reason why Goldie's hanging from the side of the tank with a ball gag in his mouth
is because no means no.
looking at a goldfish crackers wrapper.
I have a question, guys, for Cindy. All right, hold on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good.
As I watch weekly to keep up so when we do our shows, and I see that the women are working a lot tighter than years past. Even when I was in there, they worked a lot tighter. Do you think that's something that they're training, or do you think that's just something they had to pick up on?
Okay, so just I think about when I got into wrestling. I mean, wrestling's wrestling. You really can't change it. It's, but like when I would say Ring of Honor
came about the same time, Cindy, just so you know.
Yeah, well, when Ring of Honor came, everybody started up in the ante, and there was like the high flyers. Wrestlers started getting smaller. Yeah. It wasn't so much more the spectacular be 6'8". I mean, I was wrestling guys that I was taller than. It was kind of getting.
Wait a minute. What are you, 5'4"?
Memphis, I was wrestling Brian and Spanky and them down there, and they weren't not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just changes. So I think that's what's happening with women's. I mean, it's evolving probably.
I feel that it really is, but I still think that amount of time night to night might wear and tear a little bit more in the women than the men. Do you feel that maybe they should scale them back or just let them go until they burn out? You know what?
Everyone knows wrestling. You are going to – they're going to use you for what they can use you for.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over. So you know what? Go in there and make the best of it. Anybody starts wrestling, and then you just –
make your money and go home.
Yeah, and you don't have to have a backup plan, A lot of people have backup plans, and you really do need a backup plan. Not everybody gets to be a superstar and gets to make a living at it for the rest of their life. So you've got to have something else in mind that you love to do. And
would you suggest to like the younger female wrestlers, like I said, I did 18 years, but I always had a second job. Mm-hmm. I had kids and stuff. I traveled as much as I could, but I knew that, I was like. I'm barely 6'1". I was like 350. I did all the hardcore. I did this. I did that. But I always needed something to fall back on. You got a lot of guys that just think they're going to go into it and they're going to be a superstar. Do you think they should also find something to fall back on?
Yeah, even people that are on the roster for years and years. Eventually, that's going to end too, and then they find themselves with, what do I do? So they, you need a backup plan. You really do.
It's funny you say that because, like, when we got done doing the shows in Wildwood, I think fast forward, and you can correct me on the time frame, but I think fast forward maybe a year, and I'm watching I can't, and you'll remember the show, and you'll remember the title. I can't remember the title of the show. The Rescue 911, whatever that show was. You know what I'm talking about? The show I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So we fast forward, and I'm watching that show. It was a brand new series on NBC. It was about like firefighters and right, okay.
I know what you're talking about.
And the one and all these shows are like this. They always have like there's this one thing where we got to go to this crazy scene and they have to save somebody or whatever. So the thing is that they have a guy who has a heart attack at a strip joint, and he's now out on the sidewalk, and they call the paramedics. So the paramedics go there, and when the paramedics roll up, there's this like older fat guy like gasping for air on the ground, and there's these two dancers with their back towards the camera, like they're cold because it's you can tell it's like winter or something like that, and they're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I'm watching it, and I look at the one, and I say, why does that ass look familiar? Right? And then they turn the camera around, and he talked to them, and it's Cyndi, one of the girls, right?
Yeah.
And she had a speaking part, too. Didn't you have a speaking part?
It's something. I can't remember what it was, but
It
it was,
like, oh my God, yeah, like he was here, and then all of a sudden he just dropped. It was like whatever his line was.
So
right?
what you're pretty much saying is that your ass made you famous?
Your ass made you famous. You can thank.
yeah, that's so. I remember people were calling me. They're like, "Were you just on our Rescue 911?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was in The Sopranos. I was one of the Bada Bing girls, and I would get those too. But you really can't see.
Really?
Wait a minute.
Why did you do that?
Wait a minute. I was a Sopranos fan, and I was like, I'm pointing out to some of the guys. They don't know. My friends don't. They're not wrestling fans. But I said, I know her. I've seen her, and they're looking at me like, yeah, okay. Whatever.
Was it a prominent scene? You can actually see it?
They're telling me stop drinking because we were sitting there drinking. I was like, well, maybe it was. And then I trying to look it up. I was like, I knew I wasn't wrong, but now that you confirm it,
Oh God, yeah, I did.
I know that I wasn't screwed up.
I did like 2 seasons. Then I had moved to Memphis for WWF. So actually, when I came back and I did like another season as one of the Sopranos.
That's pretty cool.
Did they film in Jersey?
I got to do a lot of I did a lot of ads for them and stuff like that. Sopranos, it was fun. We used to do appearances as a Bada Bing girl and stuff. So it was fun.
Oh, that's neat.
Now you still pursuing the acting, more and more acting, or?
I actually, one of the reasons I moved back to Louisville, Kentucky, is a friend of mine has a studio, Absolute Management, where she does photography. She is a clothing designer. She working on films, and so Louisville has a flex of films coming in, and I'm going to be working with her. She's like, wanted me to come down here and just start doing photo shoots with her and doing hair and makeup. And
right.
I'm getting a little more behind the scenes, not so much in front of the scenes. I do, I wrote a screenplay, which is right now, I entered into the Sundance Film Festival. I still have not heard anything. Yeah. So my fingers are still crossed.
What it's about?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, a lot of stuff like that. I love doing film, and I love doing, hair and makeup. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Now, we talked about it last night. We were laughing about it. There was one thing you can catch on YouTube. And if you can, if you go back and watch this, and if you can put the link in the comment section or whatever, what was that called? It was something where you guys were like werewolves or
Asphalt She-Wolves. It was going to be a YouTube series where we were like, the basis of the story, we were we would turn into werewolves, and we were biker chicks, and we were trying to find out what this curse was for 100 years. So it was kind of campy and fun. And we got the scripts, but we only got to do one. I guess when people start doing the production work, they don't realize how much money it costs, and unless you have backers, and never got to do the rest of them, which was too bad because it was a lot of fun. But
if you watch the pilot, and I watched it, and there's a degree of cheese involved, which is it's no reflection on Cyndi because it ain't her thing. She showed up and did her job, but the girls come in. And they're these nice-looking girls, and they're bikers, and they're badass chicks. And they go into this bar, and this bar is like a crappy fucking bar, right? And they start like flirting and philandering with all the gentlemen that are there. And I'm like, oh, here it goes, right? And then before you know it, some kind of fight breaks out or something, and then the shit gets real. And the girls turn into werewolves. and they eat these dudes. Right? It's just, it's so awesome. You have to watch it. I was like, definitely. Like I watched it, and I'm like, this is so cheesy. And at the beginning, and I'm like, I'm going to watch this for Cyndi. You know what I mean? And then after a while, I'm like, I want to see more of this.
I don't like that was it was campy fun.
Yeah.
I did. I also did one that was kind of a spoof on The Sopranos called Hey Paisan, which was that was kind of fun too. Doing that was that was another one they were trying to do a series off of, like a comedy series, but never, Was
that the same group or no?
No, different group, different people. That was like that was the Hey Paisan one. I think I did just right after my stint from WWF. But
that's cool.
Yeah, I originally auditioned for the part, and then they went with the other girl, but she didn't work out. As I just got back into New York, they had called me. They're like, I guess I was their second runner, and she didn't work out, so they wound up using me anyway.
Right. Now, something I wanted to talk to you about too, and this goes back to your time in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you had brought up to me offline, and we wanted to bring it up on here, is that you had a specific role at that time that was being proposed and then went a different direction. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, originally, like when I was there, I think that I was going to probably be the next girl on up as it, but that was right before they had signed Trish Stratus. And unfortunately, Trish and I looked a lot alike, and unfortunately, she was on every muscle magazine. I mean, so she had I was like an indie favorite.
Yeah.
But she was, on every muscle magazine. So she really didn't know how to wrestle where I knew how to wrestle. So you remember we watched her learn how to wrestle on TV pretty much.
Yeah. And
I was put down into Memphis until I could figure out what they were going to do with me. So pretty much. So it kind of was like, it happens. It's kind of a bummer, but it does,
Now,
how long were you in MCW?
Did you hear?
What do you say?
How long were you in MCW?
MCW? Almost 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
I remember seeing shows with you on it, and they were pretty good. Good matches, good shows to watch.
They were fun.
We used to sit there because when we were at the Monster Factory, they used to show a lot of MCW,
right,
doing different things, and you would sit there and watch, and they would critique and tell you what not to do and what to do.
Right.
Tell you to watch. They do the spots where the camera was, and that's how we learned, cameras, doing spots. But we used to watch a lot of MCW, and sometimes you're like, why am I watching this? But then, it taught you a lot. What you realize.
We used to actually when I was training. Our first part of the morning is we watch videos for the first 3 or 4 hours, and then the rest of the day we, after lunch we trained.
Right.
So
we used to have a school
from old. I mean, I've probably seen every single wrestling video that was out there.
Yeah. Well, that's what we used to do. We had a school.
I mean, that's how you learn.
To watch WWE, and I tell them to go watch old NWA, AWA, MCW. That's what you learn to wrestle, not the stuff you see now. And I said, learn to work the angle, and now they watch it. But that's how I learned, spots and things like that.
Yeah, no one's ever really invented a move. They just took a move and called it a name.
I mean, I'll tell you. For anyone out there who hasn't seen Cyndi wrestle, though, you got to see her work. There's a lot of stuff online you can't find because the girl can go really well. The series,
absolutely.
The series of shows we did in Wildwood for Tommy Fierro, it was the International Superstars of Professional Wrestling. She was wrestling every single week, and balls to the wall. And the girl went in there. She did great. Your finisher was a cutter, I think, at the time. And I mean, just was great. I mean, she was wrestling guys. She was wrestling girls. It was fantastic. And we had a lot of great talent on those shows. We had guys like Chris Candido. We had Steve Carino, Billy Reel, who's local to Philly. We had Iron Sheik. We had what was his name from the Headbangers that when he did the alley gimmick?
Chaz.
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 There you go.
Chaz.
The Bushwhackers, every single talent from ECW was on their show. Guys like the late Big Dick Dudley were on those shows.
Yeah.
Just a number of people. King Kong Bundy.
Well,
That's how I became. Because we did so many shows with him. That's how Francine and I became really good friends. I was never in ECW, but we did a lot of shows together.
Yeah.
So, until this day, she's still one of my best friends. So,
yeah. Cool. And it's a lifelong relationship.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Big Sal Graziano's still one of my best friends, and you know.
Remember Big Sal from the FBI? Yeah. And then, I mean, there's just so many people. And it was funny being backstage. I was ringside cameraman, but I was also, I produced, yeah.
You were in the way.
I was very much in the way. And then, when I was a small dude. Everybody was seen over me.
Way cool in the way.
You know, but then I was producing the backstage stuff. And we used to do a lot of different things back there. And I used to, I said, like, Cyndi, what are you doing tonight? I'm doing this. Okay, can you do this, this, this? Okay, fine. And like everybody was very, very cool about getting the shit done. You know what I mean? And it was funny because we laughed about this last night. At one point, we were there bullshitting, and Donnie B was managing you at this.
Right.
And those who don't know who Donnie B is, that's he's the brother of Nova. Okay, that's Nova's
he's a talented brother.
Yeah, and Donnie's very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
And Donnie has a lot of ideas. And Donnie's very voiceful, right? Very vocal about what he wants to do. So he goes, and both of them are like, yo, we know what we should do. We should come down here early. We should go out on the boardwalk and we'll tape like our fun day, the Donnie B and Bobcat on the boardwalk and going into rides and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, this would actually be kind of a cool thing. And it's like a little cutaway type of thing we were doing it for VHS back then. For those of you out there that you should watch the video on.
Yep.
Right. And
Dark ages.
we're right in the middle of saying, we're right in the middle of saying this, and we're like, yeah, this is a great idea. Next week we'll do this. We'll get down here early. And Tommy Fair comes around. He goes, this is not the Donnie B show. This is my promotion, and we're going to do what I say.
And that was that. Squash.
That was it. Done. So I said, Don, you're going to just do an interview in the back. We'll go out to the ring.
The whole fucking interview in the back.
That was it. Just going to do it. And done. Think back to those shows, Sin. How much fun was that? Because the way they did it was weekly, and it was episodic in a sense. So if you were down for the summer, did you? We were. It was 99, summer of 99. And I remember I was working 6 days a week, and the day I was off, I was doing these shows.
What's the time on those shows?
Tom Brady? Yeah, was Tom Brady on there?
Yes.
Yeah, because I can't.
Yes, it was.
Yes, Tom Brady.
Yeah, because I can't. I'm thinking now. It was so long ago.
Well, what it was is that they pulled in Alpha and XWF, and they did the invasion gimmick on the show. And so we had, believe it or not, Alpha Jr., who was about my size at the time.
Yeah, he was.
He was very small. And then you see him now, you're like, my God, he ate 3 of his siblings.
No, I worked in the PW.
Did you?
Yeah.
When he was little?
I'm like, holy shit. Yeah.
Totally different person. Yeah. So Alpha Jr. was real young. And he was like,
Yep. He was a baby.
He was. He really was. My wife was actually we made her a backstage commentator, like a ring announcer thing. And it's funny because like I'm a very much an extrovert. This is why I do all this kind of stuff or whatever. My wife is not. My wife is like very like, I mean, now in her older age, she's like wild, but like back then she was very straight arrow, and she's like with a microphone. And my wife's got like huge breasts, right? So we bought these, like, production tank tops. Like it's like a Lion production. They look like a billboard, you know what I mean? And she's actually all done up, but she's all Poindexter like this, right? And if you remember Remember?
Please say anything else. Yeah. Tell your wife I always look at her beautiful eyes.
Her eyes. He looks at her beautiful eyes. But if you remember, Flash Wheeler used to be on the shows a lot.
Flash Wheeler, yes.
Right? So we're in the back, and we're going to do it. I think he was going to be wrestling. I forget who it was, but he was like, I was like, do the interview, and then you're going to do a run-in, right? So back there, and she's like, so Flash, you have a what do you think about that? Like that's right. And Flash goes, shut up, and he threw her out of the way. It was fun, but then he grabbed her shoe and beat up on her shoe. So she got to actually be on video and supply her shoe for a gimmick, which was nice.
I was wrestling Flash one day and I had to cover my mouth because I started laughing because the stuff he was saying in the ring. And every time I hear his mouth, he says like a joke. Yeah. I'm telling him to shut up. I'm trying to be real serious. Yeah. I was trying to get him on another show and the guy was there. And he just kept cracking jokes. And I'm like, your ass will get to the back. And then he goes, throw him down. I throw him out. This girl was sitting there because he wanted to beat this girl. Glides up to the lap. I'm sitting in the ring like, I'm looking at him. He's over there trying to get her phone number. So I had to walk away.
Now, if he's watching and his
Flash Wheeler, he's still around.
Yeah, he's still around. He moved out to Florida. He moved to Florida. But
that's a new spot.
I know. But if he's watching and his wife is watching, this was a very long time ago.
Long time ago. It was back when he was 15. Yeah. The last time I seen him,
he blew up. Got stuck.
No, he
ate some hamburgers.
Yeah.
We all eat hamburgers at some point in our life. We've been doing this for 20 years.
Now, do you have any more appearances coming with WWE or any cameos?
I don't. Right now, I really don't. I actually do work with a Grindhouse Wrestling in Indiana.
Okay.
It's the guys. Hondo, do you remember? Work with Instinct Town Posse. It's kind of their.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My girlfriend Jenna, her husband, is there with Rudy, and so I come in and I kind of do like this gimmick where I play this kid's mom, like an inappropriate mom, like he's 17 and so I'm like kind of stuffing his head in my boobs, like kissing like kind of like a really weird relationship.
I forget the actress's name, but there's somebody that does that like on like all those shows where like the dog show or something like that. There's some actress that does that gimmick, which is funny as shit. That's funny.
It's like inappropriate. So like, and I'm like, dressing like, the big Hollywood star, and I'm trying to make my son a star. And yes.
Well, I have a question for you. How do you feel about that? Because they wanted me to do a show where I play the grandfather of some wrestlers. I was like, really, guys, that kind of hurt.
And the same thing, you shoved their face in.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun gimmick. I love it. I think.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting there like I didn't realize that it was that long ago. Like, father. Yeah, because my son is 29. So I'm looking at this guy like 22. I could be his dad. Yeah. Oh God, like this. But they asked me to do it. I probably wouldn't do it. But I just told him I never wear a suit. I asked me to wear a suit. So we'll see.
That's actually funny.
I will not wear a suit.
That's so funny. Oh.
Did I lose you guys? Are there?
No, you're good. Now,
my old roommate calling me.
Right. Now, in the past few years, you've done in the past few years. I don't want to say longer than that, but you've done a lot of like burlesque shows and stuff like that. Could you, for like anybody that doesn't really know, can you define what that is?
Burlesque is kind of like. Did anyone ever see Gypsy Rose Lee? I guess. Or Gypsy, the play or the movie, or basically it's a striptease that they used to do in the 40s and 50s. So I do like fans, big fans, and I do wings, and I do belly dancing, and
right. Can you belly dance?
Mm-hmm.
Can you? Like well?
I kind of like fusion belly dance. as well as
I had to ask that, you know what I mean? Because like I'm like I can belly dance too. I mean, it's not gonna look good.
Mark can belly dance. Mark belly dances every time he walks. So
And
Mark, show.
Don't you forget it.
Mark, any question?
yeah, Mark, you're kind of quiet for once and a little nervous.
This is really I'm kind of here and he's very quiet. I'm very nervous.
Don't you forget it.
Cyndi, would you don't understand? When we're doing the show, we have to tell Mark to shut up so we can question it.
Honestly.
So
He's at Mark Studios.
yeah.
Apparently.
well,
Mark,
I mean, there's a show up your guys' ways in New York and stuff. And from one of their videos, I see they're really good up there. It's a great show to watch. It's fun, and it depends. Sometimes I get to do fire, so you know.
I mean,
And,
no, you like singing and dancing while you're doing it.
mhm.
So it's like a show.
It's a show, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a musical in a sense, but it's a striptease and it's like
Well,
flapper type of.
it's kind of like each girl comes out and does her own gimmick kind of thing, and
Okay.
you know, themes on the show. Like we just did a '70s show in Nashville. I did.
Okay.
This what I'm doing tonight is a Christmas show. You know, there's different ones.
So for your Christmas show, are you doing this fusion belly dance down a chimney or something like that? What's going on?
No, I think I'm just gonna do a little striptease, tear down a little bit of my fans.
And then, now, do you sing during this or not?
Sometimes,
Yeah. Okay.
sometimes I have.
I want to ask you, do you do any of this well? I'm not saying that you're not doing it well. I just want to ask because, like, it was like very out of left field. I don't outside of your business. I don't know what you do.
I'm doing it well. I also perform. One of my best friends, she's a drag king. I don't know if you know what that is.
Reverse drag queen, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
And, so we do. We'll work at the gay bars together, and we'll do like a lot of routines together. Where like I'll play the girl parts, and we'll do duets and stuff. It's
Oh, cool.
yeah. Actually, she's actually her condo's 2 condos down from mine. That's how I got to be here. So
Right.
yeah. Pretty awesome. Actually, we're gonna do a lot more shows now that I'm back, so it'll be fun.
How is that booked? Is that somebody like putting on a production and then they bring you in?
Audition. You have to audition. Yeah.
Really? Have you ever done that in the Philadelphia area?
Persuasions is one place that we go. Kind of, there's a troupe and plays the bigger bar in town where you have to audition, and it's a job, so you have to perform when you're every Thursday night.
Right. Is that an acting thing? Like you need to be.
We Shane and I have pulled out some really great stuff. I mean, Shane's very talented. She actually did some wrestling stuff in OVW where she did a gimmick called Just Chris. So you didn't know if she was a boy or a girl. It was great. She met.
That's great.
So it's kind of like Mark.
She had a black.
I'm just making sure you're awake out there, buddy.
Charles, you're not that much smaller than I am, so you better watch yourself.
If anything, I think Charles is smaller now.
Before you wreck yourself.
I'm trying to think now.
All right, can I hop in for a quick second?
Please, hop in.
I can't wait to hear this next question.
No, seriously. This is like a wrestling question.
Oh,
In the wrestling business, what were your favorite matches and what were some of the just dog matches that you couldn't wait to get away from?
Favorite matches? I think I kind of like when kind of matches I did with back with Rick Ratchet and Donnie B. My favorite matches. We did some fun gimmick matches. Oh, and the funnest one we did for Halloween when we did eggs and cheese and we did all kinds of pies. It was fun. It was kind of
throwing
like,
it at each other?
huh?
Like throwing it as gimmicks and stuff like that at each other? And...
Yeah. Oh, and then at the end, I think Kevin Knight had wore the pumpkin on his head. It was pretty funny. It was great. We were dressed in Halloween costume. We had Felipe the pool boy. It was great. He was making pies.
That might be offensive today, Cyndi. Watch out.
And some of the matches probably had to like a lot of when I was with Women's Extreme Wrestling, a lot of those porn stars and strippers who didn't know how to wrestle was basically pulling them around. That was a little like, let's just get this done with.
Right.
Right.
I see a couple of shows, and I
Yeah,
remember watching.
they just
Tell
didn't know.
like someone like you, your facial expression when you had to get to a ring with an untrained person, you can see it in your face. It was kind of like
That's kind of like Jasmine Sinclair. Did you ever have to work with her?
Well, because you just, it's like you're trying to maneuver them into positions that they have no clue.
and they don't get it. Yeah.
They're good at what they do, so but they didn't know wrestling.
Right.
But,
I mean, did you ever work with like Jasmine Sinclair? Because I know they brought her in ECW.
Yeah, she was down to MCW.
Was she?
Yeah, they brought her in Memphis Championship Wrestling. I think she was dating Meanie at the time.
Yeah.
When the love affair blossomed, but she couldn't wrestle either, and that was pretty challenging too.
And she got by for a while, not knowing how to wrestle.
She worked the indie shows and did that. It was more cat fighting. It was like cat fighting.
Yeah, that was like a big thing at that time because it was like with ECW coming out, it was like let's let the girls get wild and crazy, And
that was a big thing back then. And that's what I'm saying. You don't see much of that anymore.
Nah.
Not
at all.
The only time I see that lately when they had what's her name? Lana, because she's not very good.
No.
I was watching and she needs work. She's gonna get it. I've known she's kind of I've watched like
Yeah,
she's not talking.
You know, it's funny. You bring up a good point, though. There's women, and granted, I guess it's women, it's person to person.
Right.
But when you see a wrestler, a male wrestler, even if he's not that great, the basics are there. They can run ropes, they can take a bump.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There are some women that have gone on to high heights and still can't work.
Yes. Well, that's because, again, it was more about valets at the time.
Yes.
You have to work.
I mean, I don't mind mentioning them on the show here, but like some of my favorites. Now, granted, some of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Velvet Sky. I don't think it works. She can't run ropes. Can't close on.
Well, she started out to be a wrestler though, and she valeted.
She started, right?
She trained, but she
But she was in the Indies for a little while before she became Velvet Sky.
Right. Yeah. No, she was in there for a long while. She was also did women's extreme wrestling and stuff, and then she got her spot on TNA.
Right. And then I guess forgot it all because she can't run the ropes.
Some people can, some people can't.
You know, like you think back, the biggest thing in the business is like Tori Wilson. They said that notoriously, not because of her attitude, but just because she didn't get it. That she just was not a very trainable person.
Right. Some people not
trainable. I get that. I get that. But then you see someone like ODB, and then you see Velvet Sky, and you're like, well, ODB can go with any dude that's out there.
Right.
I mean, and the Velvet Sky can't. Looks like she's going to break her arm if she clotheslines somebody.
Well, you know who else is like that? I was watching the big one.
Yeah.
And, it was Mercedes Martinez.
Mercedes, yes, I love Mercedes.
I've done things with her back at TWU and in Philadelphia. And you're watching and you're just so happy because she can work her ass off.
She's very talented.
And you're sitting there going about the time that someone gets, recognized. Because she was extreme, she was a great, it still is an incredible talent.
Right.
It's just like, wow, that she's probably getting a little bit of recognition, but she should have got that a long time ago.
But here's the thing, you got to remember, when they're hiring the women they're not hiring usually a lot of them on their wrestling skills. They're hiring their looks or, their TNA on there, and then they're like, well, we'll just train them. That's pretty much how they do it now. They don't even really, most of the people some of those girls on indies have been on the indies that I've been.
But you know what I've been watching today, and I don't know if anyone else notices. They used to hire girls and guys just for what they were. But now the true talent in the WWE or your AJ Styles, your Joe, the people that were in the indies to work their way up, they're carrying these shows now.
Who's that
because they can really work.
Who's that female that's in Insanity?
Oh,
you brought her up.
Yes.
I can't think of her name. She's good.
She's good, but
she's not that mold. WWE mold.
She doesn't have that look. She's the bottom, but she worked Charlotte, and I was what's her name?
NXT more of the realer girls, if you notice that too.
Yes.
They're not going with Barbie got all
I
tired.
think that's Triple H. He's making them work, and that's
Yeah.
something later on down the line that's going to pay off for WWE because some of these, I call them untrainable just faces. I
Mhm.
hate watching because they never paid their dues.
Right.
But some of these, the ones that are breaking up now, they've been around, and I love seeing them. Like you got Adam Cole. Adam Cole used to work out of Philadelphia,
Right.
and he worked, with us, and we knew back then he was going to be there. That's how big he was.
Right.
No, some people are going to make it, right? And he
Right.
was one of those talents. And the state of wrestling now, even with the females, I like watching the female matches because they're really getting it. They're going full. I can't say balls to the wall, but they're really going hard.
Oh. I mean, and it's good. And I'm happy for those girls. It's just a different time. Like I said, wrestling's always wrestling, but it's a different time where they're going and they're finally seeing that people do actually good, which is good. And I mean, even the whole glow thing that's happening right now, I love that. I love that show. I thought it was great how they did it. And I'm happy for the girls in Glow that they got to, none of them really wanted to be wrestlers. They were, but, it became part of their lives.
Right.
So,
Now, back when you were wrestling,
Mhm.
actively, was the stress level to be this like hot ass fashion model like diva, like with that stress level like up here because of amongst everything else you had to do, you had to wrestle, you had to train, etc.
well,
Top of that, you had to be like this model.
not for me because I still like I love hair and makeup and I love doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
For some girls, I know like I would be that girl back there helping everybody with their eyelashes and stuff. So for a lot of the girls that didn't like the makeup thing, encourage them to wear it. But I always loved it. So for me, that was fun. Like I love cosplay and all that stuff. So for me, yeah, I could sit there and like play with my face all day. Everybody else is I love doing that stuff. But for
Well, Cyndi, that's some people have it easier than others. I remember now, I've done shows with you. You're very attractive, even now. It wasn't like I had to work hard to do it, okay? That's not like a hard.
Yeah. Really good.
It's too hard when that girl
Like we say, Cyndi, you got 5 years in the match. You don't look like this. She turned from 50-year-old black to this gorgeous blonde. It's crazy. Great at makeup.
But, a lot of girls, it is very stressful because that's not something they just want to wrestle. They don't want to think about it. But it's kind of like the whole packaging thing you have to do.
It's part of the game.
Right.
Everybody don't go out there with jeans
wrestler
on.
with go out there, you can't go out there in your jeans and t-shirt and do nothing. You got to have a gimmick. So girls do the same thing.
That was the worst thing when you go to a TV show and everyone comes out with jeans and t-shirts, and you got wrestling boots or tights. You're like, really?
Yes.
But
they'll say if you dress like the crowd, you'll soon find yourself in the crowd.
In the crowd. There you go.
Now, tell us about your time with Al Snow.
Oh, well.
Here we go. I have to have her. No, tell us about your time with Al Snow. Like, I guess maybe what I'm looking for more so is like when you met, his influence for you in WWE.
There was no whatsoever. I mean, when it came to wrestling and stuff like that, I never went with him. He never did my thing. We kind of lived separate lives. I never wanted to be that couple that was attached by the hip. And I'm sure he's glad now when I found out all the stuff that he was doing, but he was probably glad that there was a person attached to the hips. But yeah, as far as wrestling, he's never helped me with anything like that. But again,
was he actually detrimental to you?
Probably.
You think?
It was not. Yeah, he definitely not helped my career for sure.
Right. Do you think like he maybe had a hand in you not getting a shot?
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, he was too busy trying to get himself another shot. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? It was more about him than anything else.
Right. Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is it just like, yeah, it didn't work out over there, and I'm over here, and that's what he wanted, or is he a despicable human being?
Well, here's the thing. He was living a whole life that I found out, like going, he's an idiot because he left his email turned on. So when I went in there, seeing like naked pictures of girls and all kinds of stuff like that. So I was finding out what he was really doing. He was sending his friend like these photos and, you know, saying, look at this chick. And, you know, it's girls in tanning beds. And the girl that he married now, there's like a whole like video of them. Like he was dating her 2 years to go married. So it's like finding out somebody you didn't know, but being in the wrestling business, a lot of people, they said you shouldn't be surprised. I'm like, I am not, but I thought he was somebody he wasn't. But
now in the business, like I said, I done a long time, but I've been married almost 30 years.
mm-hmm.
It's a choice. I know a lot of guys who are married. You get things thrown at you, and you know, I mean, I've done shows and I wasn't no superstar, but I just been in the ring with certain people, and you come out of the show, and there's a rat standing there chasing you around. You're like, okay, it's time for me to go. You think it was, or that was his personality?
Right. I'm no stranger to the business. I've seen it. Guys who've been great to their wives and guys who haven't. So, I mean, I just, like I said, as far as my personal thing, I just thought he was somebody who he was.
Right.
To be honest with you, I'm much happier now than I've ever been because it was kind of waiting at home when it, you know what I'm saying? So kind of when I get home, I kind of would drop everything I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, to be with him and like all that. And now my life is so much better and fuller that I'm, you know, I'm thankful in a way. I wish it would have happened sooner. I wouldn't probably stayed as long as I did. But
you blame all of it on him, or would it be?
I got a question. Do you have a special person in your life now, or what?
Oh, honey, I am enjoying the single life. I do not ever. I don't get married. How stupid.
I'm just asking the question.
She does way too much. I see this girl. I get tired.
No, you do have a smile on your face. It looks like you're extremely happy. And I'm like, maybe she found that person.
He did. Have a nice guy named Hitachi.
You know what? Look, if it happens, it happens. I'm not I'm not one of those people that need somebody to complete them. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy being by myself. I mean, I bought my own condo. I work. I do shows. I mean, I'm loving life. And, you know, I'm back now where all my friends are. So, you know.
That's awesome. I love to hear stuff like that.
How much of the business could you blame, if any, on your situation now?
No, it's him. And I think, I mean, it comes down to egos and narcissists. And are you there?
Yeah, we're right here.
Yeah. Like you guys I
think I can hear you.
It's an individual thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't blame it. I blame him. It's who he is. It's who he is, and I just didn't know. That's how I talk it up. and that's understandable. And you know what? Some people are like that. Like you said, some people are the way it worked out.
Let's try and look at the
And I have a quick question. Cindy, for you. Obviously, the time period you were with Al is much different than the current wrestling situation. A lot of marriages are happening now. You know, Cody and Brandy and the Usos and Daniel Bryan. Do you think that the time frame and the business being different back then had an impact versus the success that maybe people are having today?
No, I honestly believe it's an individual thing because, you know, there's been couples that were together even then that stayed together. I think it's an individual thing. I think it's who you are as a person. You know, I mean, if looking back at his life, he's cheated on everybody he's with, and, you know, you don't take that into consideration. Like, what would make me any different? You know, if you look at stuff, if you look at somebody's background, what does it say? A leopard don't change their spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the signs were there. I just, you know, love is blind, but the neighbors aren't.
Now, going back to what you said earlier, you said, you know, we're going to do our own thing. And, you know, you wrestle, I want to wrestle. I'm doing my jobs, you're doing your jobs, and I'm not going to hang on you and stuff like that. I think maybe if I tell you, if you didn't do that, if you did, you know what?
That's not who I am. I don't want to be that couple that you're attached to at the hip. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people that I don't need to know where you are every minute. I mean, I'm sure life a lot easier to do what he did. But I'm not that type of person. I'm not jealous. I don't, if I have to be that way, then I shouldn't be with him. So, that's my thought of it. I just don't want to be, like I said, that couple where you're attached by the hip, and you're some couples that will only get booked together. Like,
Right.
never see that. I want to have my own life too. You have yours, I have mine, then we have together, but.
All right, so I'm back. Sorry, I had to take the call from work. But one of the questions I had: are you planning on coming in this area anytime soon, the Philadelphia area?
I was just up there not too long ago, visit family or whatever, and then probably not for a while now. I mean.
But you got to make sure when you come up here that you contact Dan, and we'll go out and all have a
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait a minute.
It was about less than 6 months ago, I think we were here in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But it ended up being like North Jersey near New York. And I'm like, I ain't traveling that far.
One of my best friends, she lives up there, and I go see her a lot. She'll come here.
Yeah.
But she just got married, so she's doing a destination wedding. So that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, don't you think seriously? I got 20 money. I mean, it's cool. I'm like, man, this is gonna cost me a lot of money.
That's why you don't go. You just send a card with some cash and call it a day.
I am going. I'm hoping it's somewhere like Jamaica.
Skype.
Yeah. Well, we're going to we're going to Iceland.
Ooh,
Yeah, they're going to get married. Well, that's where she's from. And I'm like, really? Like Iceland? Like Iceland?
But Iceland is beautiful. I mean, Greenland, that'd be rough.
But it's still expensive.
It's actually it's very green there, isn't it? Like green.
Yes.
It's not.
Greenland is icy and Iceland's green.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it right?
There is work out there. I've not been, but
So where's your destination? Where do you have to go? You know yet?
Jamaica.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
He's looking for Dexter St. John.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes, very nice. Very, very nice.
I'm like,
Would you be able to get back in the ring today?
I have, and it's a little painful, but I don't think would I do it? No. I'll just take a bump here and there. My wrestling days are probably behind.
This is a question I have for you. You're saying that in Atlanta. I went down to the training center not too long ago. This is guys, and I took a bump, and I had to think about it before I just didn't do it. I took the bump. I was like, man, I'm done.
I wrestled this little girl on the show, and I was like whipping around. I'm like, you're younger. You're going to hit the ground a lot more than me.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
They say age is a number, but let me tell you something. When I was wrestling, I was like at the age when you're supposed to be retiring from the shit, and I'm wrestling kids that were like 12, 15 years younger than me. They were getting hit, bouncing right back up. I was getting hit. I needed water. I needed oxygen tank. I couldn't walk.
Well, I think I played. Granted, I was what, 45 when I stopped?
Yeah, pretty much.
I was 45 when I stopped, Cyndi. And if you watched the match, you were like, damn, Gemini Chuck only took 2 bumps. That's all I was taking.
Load up.
I just moved from like Nashville to here, and let me tell you something. That sucked the life out of me. My move killed me. I think I would have rather wrestled 10 matches, but no.
Yo, moving boxes and stuff, right?
Oh my God.
And you had to like do the painting and the refurbing. You had help. I mean, you had to.
I painted. It was a condo you had to fix up, so I painted. I scrubbed the floor, stripped the floors. I'm like, I have a new respect for people that do that stuff. I actually posted on Facebook. My friend Nina came over and helped me. One of the drag kings, she came and helped me paint, and then I did the floors, and then had a friend of mine, Matt, come help me move, and my friend Shane, and it was just like, then people were dropping, my friend Dee Dee, then somebody came for it, tapped in and tapped out, but it was basically down to me and my friend Matt that moved the most, but I was like, never again, that's it. I said,
as soon as you're done with something like that, you're like, I'm tired, man.
Oh my God, I'm still like, I've only been here like in a week, and I'm still recovering. I still got more boxes at my other friend's house that I still do, and
I mean, not being funny, I'm ripping out my bathroom. I'm redoing my bathroom, and it's something I could do back in the day in 3 days. It's been like 2 weeks. and I'm still. I come home and I'm like this. Yeah, I'm a tile. Nah, never mind. I'm going to sleep.
Let me tell you something. I have a hole in my ceiling this big because my bathroom leaked into my living room. That hole was there for about a year and a half. I keep looking up to see if it's getting bigger because I'm like, you know what? I can't do it yet. I'm not doing it yet.
I'm going to get to it. That's the whole thing. I'm going to get to it.
I'm going to call you, Cindy. I'm going to be like, listen, I'm finally going to do this. I'll pay. I got a good job. Here, I'll help you. I'll get a hamburger.
Business.
Another skill. You have another skill set. Could be a carpenter.
A lot of work too. I'm like, hell with that. I'll stick to cutting hair.
So tell us about the show tonight.
Yes.
That you're doing.
Okay. So it's a burlesque show. It's at Persuasions. It's a gay bar, but it's like everybody goes.
Right.
And it's the Derby City Divas that I do this with, and like once a month do a show. So this will be my first time I've been back to Kentucky, which will be exciting.
Right. What are you doing tonight? Are you setting yourself on fire? What are you doing?
No, not setting myself on fire today. And the Christmas song.
Like she comes out, she sings like a Christmas Carol and like boost on fire.
Seen that happen? We don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it would be a crazy show. I would pay to see it like that.
Oh, jeez.
You know, you just come out and be like, "Oh, look at that! She's going to set herself on fire," and then they're going to put her out, and then they're going to have somebody else come out and sing. No, it's good.
Now, does the Derby City Divas have a website in case any of our fans want to take a look?
Yes, there's a Facebook page, the Derby City Divas. They can take a look at that for sure.
Okay. And they see any of these shows recorded like on YouTube or something?
Yeah, I'm also in burlesque. So that's Shannon Mons, so you can always look that up too.
Yeah, something's ringing again. If you can repeat that, because you kind of got cut out a little bit.
And what was that?
Nashville Burlesque, and that's Shannon. That's hers. Troop.
Nashville Burlesque. Okay. And somebody can go on and watch, I guess, previous shows and stuff like that.
There's some videos, I'm sure, out there.
Okay.
Yes, there is. There's videos.
Okay. Check it out. Leave comments for you.
Yes.
We want Cyndi Snow. We want Cyndi.
Fire! Cindy, I always enjoy talking to you. You're just such a ray of sunshine. It sounds very cheesy, but you really are. And I understand, like I work at UPS, and so a lot of times there's a time difference between obviously Cindy and us. And she's a night owl. So I'm driving UPS, and I would be having conversations with Cindy while I'm driving and stuff like that. And we get into like horrendous conversations about shit. She's just such a pleasure to talk to. We talk to her for hours.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
No, you are. You're a wonderful person. We really are.
Us from this place, that way, we really appreciate coming on.
Well, thank you guys. You guys rock.
To deal with.
Please, if you would come back and do this again.
I definitely will.
I mean, there is pharmacy here, but we have the big you back there that's not saying anything today. But
there should be a teleprompter, like instructions down below. It looks like Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
See everybody like right there. So.
Cindy, you have to understand something. In previous shows, I've been known to take over and make the most sense on this show. So I thought I'd give them an opportunity. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, pops out.
No, we really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Really. And I mean, you hate to say, but good luck with everything you're doing.
Soon.
Keep in contact with Dan, and please come on again. Please.
Yes. Well, maybe the next time me and George will be able to come on the same show again.
Yeah. For those of you, once again, she had technical difficulties with her Wi-Fi, so she wasn't able to jump on.
Tell George hasn't paid the bill.
The bill. I'm just saying.
We're joking.
Another good friend of mine.
We're joking. No, that bill has to be paid, otherwise you're not going to get on the internet. But definitely, thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Good luck on your show tonight. Break a leg, whatever they tell you to do in burlesque.
All right.
We love having you on. We hope to have you on soon. For Cyndi Snow, for Charles Gemini Gregory, Mad Mark Lindsay, LeGrand Onslaught Jackson. My name is Jay. Until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Cyndi.
You're welcome, hon.
The proceeding was produced by DJB Productions. Go to www.thatwaycoolwrestlingshow.com.